that's when you got the idea of actually coming up with Rwenzori.
Actually, with the Rwenzori, I first climbed the Rwenzori Mountains in April 1991. And I thought, wow, this is fantastic. I'd never seen a mountain like this.
Okay.
You've got so much diversity, all the different zones of vegetation zones, the snow-capped mountains, the glaciers. It just blew me away.
What attracted you more to come up with this?
The environment is just
The beautiful
very
sceneries?
unique.
The climate?
In Uganda, the climate is very beautiful.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But really, the thing that captured me initially was Uganda as a country, and also the character and the attitude of the people. I love the people here.
Okay.
They're very much like Australians in the way they cater for each other and the families, etc., etc. And it's a great feeling. It feels like home.
Yes.
We've been going 10 years now, and we've put in a lot of infrastructure, high quality infrastructure.
Okay.
And it's going pretty well. COVID, of course, is like everybody else. Business is very, very affected by the COVID.
Briefly, share with us the background.
The background to Rwenzori
Yes,
trekking.
yes.
For me, I first came into Uganda in 1990.
Okay.
I worked with Action Aid for a while,
Yes.
and I loved the country. After the Action Aid, the small contract I had with them was finished, I stayed on. I started into tourism. I started backpackers in Lunguja,
Oh.
and at those times we had a lot of tourists. But we also used to take people up to Murchison Falls and other places around, and I got to know Uganda extensively from that.
What are the aims and objectives of Rwenzori Trekking Services Limited?
The aims and objectives is one, to give the clients, which are mainly Europeans but also
Yes.
locals, a great experience,
Yes.
and to get them to appreciate the environment and appreciate what we have in Uganda. We have a snow-capped mountain right on the equator, or 38 kilometres north of the equator,
Okay.
which is very unique. But the vegetation zones, as you climb, you go through 5 different zones,
Okay.
and it's very, very different to other mountains.
Okay. And in 10 years, what's the vision and the mission for the next years?
To develop it even more, to bring more people to realise the value of our natural resources, not only in the Rwenzoris but in Uganda.
We know, coming up with Rwenzori Trekking Services, there are those achievements that you looked at. Can you share them with us?
The achievements from that, we've put a lot of money back into the community. We've added classrooms to 5 different schools, because one of the problems we have down there is a lot of people have not got such a good education. So we've added 2-3 classrooms, and in some cases teachers' housing on 5 different schools to improve the education, so the local people can get, when they grow up, they can get jobs into tourism. Then during COVID, of course, we had the enormous floods in Kalembe, which wiped out the hospital. So we, up on Bonyonadiko, which is 500 metres above the valley floor, we built a health centre too, which has got beds in one section, and then the reception, and then the doctor's place, so as the people could have access to medical. So we're trying to assist the community wherever we can.
Okay.
On top of that, and of course, create employment. In constructing the huts, everything has been carried on the head. All the timber, everything has been carried right up to the snow line, building high quality huts.
Okay.
And that has also created enormous employment opportunities for the local people. The community has been performing rather well, but as we talk now in both mountainous areas, which is Mount Elgon and the Rwenzoris,
Okay.
poaching is at quite a high level.
Okay.
Rwenzoris is less, Mount Elgon is more, because of the financial situation that we have in the country. And coupled with that, of course, beef prices and the prices of chicken and everything has skyrocketed and gone up. So therefore the price of bushmeat is also up. You can imagine a hyrax, which is a small animal like this. He sells for about 15 to 20,000 shillings. So if they go into the park and they get 8 or 10 hyrax, they come back out, they've got quite a good income. They get a daika. Easter Friday we've started our own anti-poaching unit, which we have 7 people in our anti-poaching unit, and we always go with 2 UA staff. And UA has been very cooperative. And within a 5 or 6 day period, the boys will recover 400 or 500 snares, including steel traps, big steel traps that you can't imagine, which catch a buffalo. Those steel traps are used to catch chimpanzee for their meat.
Wow.
And also their value, they say that the bones are this, and there's many other, the witch doctors and that use as well.
Okay.
All these beliefs that go with it.
Poaching being one of the challenges that has endangered our environment.
The animals are disappearing. There's no two ways about that. We used to go in and hear chimpanzees every time we went in. Now you'll hear them occasionally. They've reduced.
Yes.
The elephants disappeared, were gone. The bush elephant, which was in the Rwenzurus and very important part of the ecology, were gone by the mid-80s.
Okay.
The elephants used to dig the forest floors with their trunk, with their tusks, and of course they call them the forest gardeners. And that's where the trees would regenerate. As it is now, the Rwenzurus is not regenerating the forests.
Okay.
So we also had the forest hogs, which we haven't seen a forest hog for quite some time now. So whether they're all gone, there may be a few, but they're really gone. And we really need to put some more protection in. The biggest problem is Uganda Wildlife Authority is very understaffed. The Rwenzori National Park is 994 square kilometres, and they've got 57 rangers. 57 rangers for 994 kilometres.
That is a big percentage.
That can't really do anything. And that's why we put in the effort to have to support UA in the anti-poaching situation.
Now talk about the climate change in that area.
Climate change, of course, is affecting everywhere in the world. There's no two ways about it. The glaciers are disappearing. For example, in 2008, there was a small rock sticking up out of the glacier. The ice there was a rock about 10 feet high at the glaciers.
Yes.
Now that rock is over 80 meters. So you can say the ice has come down about 80 meters.
Yes.
We recently, Cheptegei, our national runner, who's I'm very, very proud of,
Yes.
saw off the CEO of UTB, Lydia Ajavola, to climb the mountain. But we named that little rock that was there, just sticking out of the ice 10 years ago, and now 80 meters above the ice, we call that Cheptegei Peak. So it's a new peak in the mountain, in his honor, the topmost part. But that just shows you how much the glacier has gone down. It's going down and it's going down. But combined with that, we're also getting weather extremes. We're getting very dry, then we're getting extreme snowfalls that we've not seen for 20 or 30 years. Just 2 weeks ago, we had over 1 meter of snow on the glacier, and we had 2 avalanches, which we've not seen for a long, long time.
What really causes that in the same particular environment?
I'm not a scientist, but apparently the heat in that is taking up more moisture from the forests in Congo, and that's where our weather comes from the southwest. And of course then it rises up the Rwenzurus and drops all its rain. That is what is causing the extreme floods that we've seen in the last number of years in the Rwenzurus.
As Rwenzori Tracking Services Limited, how have you dealt with some of the challenges like poaching?
Well, with the anti-poaching team, and working with UA, we're trying to, but as I said, it's understaffed. But it needs more than that. It needs community benefits. Now, all the time you see in the papers or on the news where
Yes.
the community are abusing UA and saying revenue sharing, the 20% revenue sharing. We don't see any of it. We don't have any benefits. So the community go into the park poaching.
Yes.
But the reality is that UA is doing a fantastic job in paying the revenue sharing. Like, for example, in a year, the Queen Elizabeth, the whole area
Yes.
around Queen Elizabeth gets over 500 million. It's paid to the district. Kasese district in 2015 got 175 million shillings for the people around the edge of the national park.
Does it
And,
benefit these people?
It's not benefiting the people around the national park. It benefits some people somewhere, but it doesn't benefit the people around the
What do you
national
think
park.
may be the cause for this?
UA does the right thing and pays that 20% to the districts. Then the districts call for proposals. And then the money is given out to those people who are successful in getting their proposal granted. But nothing is done on ground. And we really need to look after these people around the edge of the national park so they have a value on the national park. If they're not getting benefits, how can they have a value? The only value they see now, they don't get anything from the revenue sharing, so they go into the national park poaching and cutting trees.
Okay.
But if that revenue sharing was distributed fairly with some supervision, maybe from UA, maybe from some government identity, to make sure that it is made for the people around the national park, right around the edge of the national park, there would be even...
But are these people participating well to see that they actually they deserve this kind of amount in protecting and conserving?
But where
our
is the amount
environment?
going now? It's disappearing. It's gone. It's not benefiting. It's benefiting very few people, and people we don't even know around the edge of the national park. So the same in Mount Elgon. Mount Elgon, it pays out more than 150 million shillings a year.
Okay.
But everybody's running into the national park. The people around the edge, and I've spent a lot of time in Mount Elgon, there's no benefits to the people. So there has to be some system or structure put there to see that the people around the national park benefit.
Okay.
And then also to call NGOs to also assist around the edge of the national park. There's so many things they could do,
Okay.
like community tourism. Conservation through through tourism. There's so much community tourism that could be done around the Rwenzurus and Mount Elgon. Mount Elgon, a long time ago, I nicknamed Mount Elgon the land of 1,000 waterfalls, and it really is magnificent waterfalls. But none of it is developed outside the national park. They're just there. You go up to Bombay. You see some fantastic waterfalls, but there's no walks or trails to go to it. And that could all be community based, so community feel, oh, tourism is benefiting us. You go up to Wagagai, not Wagagai, up to Wanyali,
Yes.
right? You've got the towers up there, you've got the caves, you've got the climb up. Recently, Amos Wakesa tried to promote it by having a walk from Mbali town
Yes.
up to Wanyali. But nothing's really happened on ground. Some of this 20% from the revenue sharing should go into developing those things
And-
so communities see the benefits.
Who is supposed to follow up this?
It should be the districts. But do the districts really understand or
officers?
appreciate? The district management don't seem to understand the value of the national park. They just see the national park as a source for them to get money, and then it's gone.
And how have you done? What have you done to see that this is actually improved?
For me, that's why I've now come out. I've always been quiet. I've always not been vocal. You've got a lot of noisy people in Uganda making a lot of noise. And I've always just sat back and just watched and observed, and I see many things. But I've decided that this can no longer be. We have to bring it out. Some people may get disturbed by me talking like this. Let them be disturbed. Let them do the right thing for Uganda and our future generations. We need to get people to understand. We need to get these ideas out there, so government says, hey,
That's
you
true.
mean this 20%, the 500 million is just disappears?
That's true.
And once it's there, once it's bought out, then something might be done about it. Some people may hate me. Let them hate me. I don't mind.
How are you looking forward on improving all these kind of challenges in this environment?
That's why now I'm becoming vocal. That's why now I'm putting out what is really happening on ground. And I'm not lying. And I don't have any financial benefit from doing this, but to see the environment is protected. We've got some in the Rwenzurus, like for example in Kalembe, up in Mbunga, 500 meters above the Inyawamba River. A local entrepreneur has built a campsite, which some of our MPs visited last week. I think it was last week. And this campsite has got incredibly beautiful views. It's a great experience. But to get up there by road is nearly impossible. There's a road there, but it's not maintained.
That means there is a need of constructing this road.
Not constructing, maintaining. Maintaining the road.
Okay.
So, and then when this is up in Mbunga and Bushualita, if it's maintained and tourists are there, then the local community say, hey, these tourists are really benefiting our community. So they will protect the environment.
Okay, what do you think should OWA do more in improving our environment, tourism, and the community people around the area?
I think OWA is doing as much as it can, given its low staffing. It needs more staff, that's for starters. It's paying the 20% revenue sharing, but that revenue sharing is being not going to the targeted people. So it needs to go to the targeted people. I know I keep repeating this, but it really needs to do that to protect. OWA is doing a fantastic job, but
they need to improve it. They need to improve.
I don't know whether it's OWA can do some improving, yes, but the districts need to make sure that that money is dispersed to go around the edge of the national park.
There is a need of coordination.
Coordination, yes, but unfortunately when OWA gives the money, that's the end of their story. They've got no more authority over the money.
What's your way forward, Mr. Hanwick?
We have to get a proper system in to make sure that it's done properly. Then, I'm repeating a lot here.
It's okay.
But then, we need to see that more encouragement is given to those people. And develop community tourism, like down in Chirumba, which is southern part of the Rwenzurus. You got Namasangi waterfalls outside the national park. You've got vanilla and coffee growing together, but there's no tourism showing people what vanilla and coffee is. Believe me, the Germans and the Italians would love to see how coffee was picked. They'd love to visit the gardens at 7 o'clock in the morning when people are picking the coffee. But it's not done. It's the same as the Ankoli cows.
We hope for it to be done. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. John Hanwick. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The duty of wildlife and environmental protection starts with us as concerned citizens, hence conserving our nature. Otherwise, I am Salma Lukwag, but remember to go for vaccination because COVID is real. Stay home and stay safe.
Patriotism is a feeling of love, devotion, and the willingness to sacrifice for one's country.
I say no to corruption because I put my country first. I choose peace over violence because I put my country first.
I love Uganda. I serve Uganda. I sacrifice for Uganda. I'm learning.
Uganda first. This message is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co Uganda, Office of the President.